Hello everybody, welcome back to Body Tuning Live. Okay, today we're going to address how to take care of the neck and shoulders and back, and how this relates to posture and what it means to have an open posture. Okay, I've added a little bit of a description today below the video to go along, and so let's just dive right in. And first I'll cover some of the basics about what we're talking about, okay? So as we work at home, generally we get into the positions like this, right? We get flexion down, perhaps the shoulders come forward a little bit, the head goes a little bit forward. Nothing new here, okay? So the problem is, how do we get out of this position and back to something, boom, more upright and stable? Because when we're more upright and the chest is more open, there's less pressure hanging on the base of the neck. So it's easier for us to maintain a loose neck when we stay nice and open in the chest, okay? But what does it really mean to be open in the chest? In order to understand this, we need to understand the different ways that we can move the body, right? If I move from the spine, I can flex and extend the spine. Let's practice this movement a few times to get a sense for this. Right? Notice how this movement comes from the spine, arching the back and pushing the chest forward. Okay, this movement doesn't have to do anything with the shoulders. In fact, if I don't use my shoulders, we can do the same movement, right? Just pushing the chest open. But my argument is that that's not actually creating an open chest. All it's doing is creating tension in the mid-back as you arch the body upwards. It will kind of make you feel like the neck is more stable, but you'll just trade one tension for another tension in the mid-back. So how do we actually get more upright? In order to do that, it's a very simple concept. We need to open all the tissues in the front of the chest and open the front of the neck so that nothing is pulling us forwards. Then it will be easy for the body to become open, okay? So in order to open the tissues in the front of the chest, we need to look at the shoulder joint mechanics. And the movement we're really going to focus on is externally rotating the shoulders. If you keep the arms, the elbows close to the body and open the arms like this, if you're able to achieve that on both sides, you'll see that the chest becomes extremely open, right? It naturally opens the front of the body. Let's hold this position a little bit while we use some light breathing into the chest to open up even more. Direct the air into the upper chest and try to feel the very gentle stretch as you peel the arms open. By creating external rotation in the shoulder, we can unspiral the chest muscle open and reposition the shoulder girdle without having to pop the chest forward by using the spine muscles. Right? Simply by going from here to here, we have achieved immediately a better position, okay? Without increasing tension in the spine. The tension we increased was in the back of the shoulder joint in the rotator cuff. Let's continue to develop this very open chest position with a couple of long breaths as we continue to let go of any unnecessary tension. Now, normally I start the sessions by diving down, getting very relaxed, or jiggling the body and loosening up. We're not abandoning those principles, but now we're going to maintain the steady tension in the shoulders while we let go of the rest of the body, okay? And this is really an important concept to understand, because in order to maintain an open chest and an open neck when working, we need to adjust the tone in our body. We cannot just rely on remembering to go here all the time. Oh, I feel not good, boom. It doesn't work like that. You'll just be fighting yourself all day. What we need to do is adjust the neurological tone of the body so that the back of the shoulders are naturally more active. So we're going to train them to do that by keeping this open position. And we're going to take a bunch of our releasing breaths where we calm not only the breath down, but the mind. Let's do this together and focus really hard on simply releasing anything that isn't involved in holding the arms open like this, okay? Slowly the breath gets longer. Good, let's take a quick break and talk about what's going on here. First, let's start with this easy experiment. Let the arms collapse into the front of the body, hanging into the legs, in between the legs into the lap. Let's take a few more releasing breaths and notice what can happen to the spine. As we let go, we can now kind of fall forward or sag a little bit. We can slouch a little bit more. This is great for releasing the tension in the spine, but it's not going to help us open the chest, which is what we want to focus on right now. We'll try the same releasing breath with the arms in our open posture position. Now as we try to release, even if you attempt to drop the spine and slouch, you'll see that you can't. You can sort of force it down, but you won't naturally collapse the same way. Right? The openness of the chest will support the thoracic spine and keep the head in a decent position. So let's continue to develop the tone in the shoulders throughout this session today, keeping these parameters in mind. Okay? If you have the basic problem of not being able to open to 90 degrees, which I oftentimes have, when I wake up in the morning, I oftentimes cannot make it to this position right away. And I need to try to start by doing this stretch. Okay, so let's start to get into our little bit of a class now. Okay, so that's the information we're going to try to ingest through our movements today. Okay, so why don't we clasp our hands behind the back? We're just going to reach straight down, and notice how this also pulls the shoulder blades backwards and opens the chest. Okay, let's spend a couple of minutes breathing into the chest as we bounce up and down. Okay. Good. Shake out the arms and get nice and loose. Another important concept to understand is that right now we're doing exercises to adjust the tone in the body. This means we will rack up a bit of tension in the back of the shoulders and perhaps the back of the spine. This is okay while we do the exercises so that the body remembers it wants to be more upright. But later when you're working, you don't want to try to crane up or push the shoulders back or hang around with the arms open all day. These are only exercises to retrain the body. Shaking one arm to the side. This movement is really great for getting that 90-degree rotation in the arms. Right? If you're in the boat where you only make it to here and you can't easily open the arm to 90 degrees, you can use this position to flip the arm open into 90 degrees. And so in this case, the effort is to throw a stone backwards. I'm trying to throw something through the door in the back. If you really use the imagery to try to toss something backwards, you can clearly feel how the back of the shoulders are engaged to make this aggressive rotation, flip something backwards. This is another great exercise to tone up the back of the shoulders so that they naturally hang where they want. Right? This nice up and down movement from the shoulder girdle. Okay. I'd like to address the movement that I'm doing right now and why this up and down movement is so important. Okay. In the front of the muscle are two large chest muscles. One reaches to our arm bone, which we've addressed by opening this way. But another one actually connects from our shoulder blade to our ribs. It's called the PEC Minor, and it's very popular on Google. But the important concept is to understand when we move the shoulder up and back, this muscle gets lengthened. And if you don't have the freedom to bounce the shoulders, this means that the shoulder blades are being compressed down against the ribs all day. And we need the free-floating shoulder blades off of the rib cage so that when we move our heads or turn and look, they can accommodate the movement and not cause our neck to fight against our shoulders. Try this easy experiment. As you reach aggressively down towards the floor and keep reaching towards the floor, the shoulder blades will lock against your rib cage. Now, if you turn the head from side to side, you'll see it's very difficult and there's quite a bit more tension in the body. Right? If we bounce the shoulders and leave them loose in space, it's quite a bit easier to turn the head from side to side. This is why cultivating freedom of the shoulder blade away from the rib cage is so valuable. Okay, let's continue to bounce the shoulders and warm up the body. Good, taking an easy shimmy going down and up. Okay, if you've been in the boat of puffing out the chest using the thoracic spine, this exercise is really, really great for actually loosening the spine itself. You can let the shoulders be loose here because you want to focus on getting the spine to flex and letting the muscles let go. Great, I'd like to address the second concept of creating a stable shoulder girdle to get rid of neck pain. As we have opened the shoulders already this way, this is great for opening the chest and getting us here. But what if your shoulders are still too high or being pushed down too low, right? How do we cultivate the neutral buoyancy of the shoulder blade? If you feel the shoulders are high, we need to do the similar concept as adjusting the tone of the body. But in this case, we're going to feel the muscles we want to tone up by taking both hands and squeezing hard against our abdomen. You'll feel the chest push forward a little bit, and you'll also feel a lot of muscles in the mid-back turn on. You can also use the area of the solar plexus, so you grab the rib cage so the back doesn't actually puff forward, but you'll still feel the muscles pull and engage. Another way to feel this is to put the hands on the knees and pull the hands towards you on the knees. This will also arch the back forward a little bit, but you'll be able to feel the contractions through the mid-back. Okay, these are also the muscles that help ground the shoulder blades so that they're open and down rather than open and up. Okay, so let's continue to squeeze against the chest as we shimmy the body. Okay, so we're pressing against the chest, and this is activating the mid-back. Okay, the elbows are reaching towards the ground, and we're just making this light shimmy. Okay, squeezing, pressing against the chest. Wow. Okay, now that can feel like a lot of work if you're squeezing very hard. That's fine. Remember, these are only exercises to adjust the tone of the body. Let's revisit loosening the spine again. This time dipping a little bit farther down. Good. Let's take the head in a no-like pattern, and we'll just go from side to side while we maintain the slight downward reach. Okay? Remember, the downward reach is going to anchor the shoulder blades like you're reaching towards the ground. Now when we rotate the head to the side, we can feel the light stretch come into the side of the neck. Let's spend a minute or two on each side. This arm can be loose as this is the side stretching. So this arm reaches down while the head reaches away. Try to look down into your armpit. Now use a yes movement to peel open the front of the neck. Remember to keep reaching down with that hand to ground the shoulder blade against the ribs. Let's take that over to the other side. Reaching down with the arm to ground the shoulder blade, and shaking the head no to reach away. You don't always have to stretch aggressively. I like to use the movements inside of the stretch, not only for entertainment, but I find it gives a much better release to the muscle as you practice all the different angles that the muscle's capable of. Remember to use a releasing breath to try to stimulate the vagus nerve and release the muscles faster. You need to try to release the breath and the mind as you stretch. Looking down into the armpit. Reaching towards the floor. And now using a yes sensation to pull open the left side of the neck, or right if you're doing mirror image. Great, let's come back to neutral and get a more of a full body shimmying going now, okay? Just try to shake out all components of the system. You may by now feel that the shoulder girdle feels a little bit different than we started. Hopefully it feels a little more grounded in the back of your body. Good. Another aspect of achieving good posture when you're working at a desk a lot is understanding how the hips work. Okay? Obviously, we're sitting in a flexed position all day when we sit. Anytime you're sitting, the hips are flexed, no brainer. So we need to spend a little bit of time doing the opposite, right? We want to try to get the extension in the body so that as we open the front of the hip, this is actually going to relieve a lot of the gripping that we get in the stomach. Notice how even if I have a nice open posture, if I grip in the stomach, it pushes the head forward and I'm back into my no grip position. Right? So beyond opening the chest and the throat, we also need to open the belly. This is what people talk about doing hip openers, or, oh, can you give me a good hip opener? Oh, this stretch is such a good hip opener. Yeah, what they really mean is they're creating some element of hip extension so that they're not being drawn forward, so that the body feels more open like this. Okay, so we can use just a basic lunge stretch in this position, right, going here, and we're going to just double team it with our open posture and the release breathing. So you're just spending time in this position. You want to facilitate the butt muscle. the squeeze, right? Just as we adjusted the tone by squeezing the back of the shoulders and relaxing the chest, when you're trying to open the hip flexors, it's really important to squeeze the butt muscle because this will neurologically adjust the tone more towards the back of the body, creating a more open feeling, okay? So as you drive the neurological impulse into the body will be able to release the stomach area more easily. Okay, let's combine all these techniques at once now. So we're in our nice big lunge here, okay? We've got our posture, shoulders open, and we're squeezing the butt. And now we're just gonna take 10 of our releasing breaths as we spend time here. Remember to stay connected to the squeeze in the butt. Don't worry about reaching forward. Squeeze the butt to make the stretch. Good, rest the arms for a second. Let's shake out and then do the other side. Okay, remember, let's take a second now to free the shoulder blades off of the rib cage. Good, loosening the spine, shimmying down and up. Great, let's take it into our opposite side lunge, okay? Remember not to go so deep. You want to feel just a light stretch in the front of the hip, and then you want to really focus on squeezing the butt. If you stretch too deeply, you'll feel too much pain, and it won't be easy to feel a good contraction. So stay where it's comfortable and trust that by feeling a strong contraction in the butt, you're going to loosen the front of the hip by neurological inhibition. As one muscle contracts, the other side loosens or relaxes, right? Let's resume our posture position, stretching the hip open, squeezing the butt. Let's take a few breaths. Great, let's shake out the arms. And we'll rinse and repeat that same concept, okay? Now that we've created more tone in the back of the body, we also need to relieve the tension in the muscles from working. So we need to shake the arms, free the shoulder blades from the rib cage. Good, so those are some basic concepts, and now we're going to get to the finishing touch on handling neck pain. Okay, and this has everything to do with stress and what happens to our neck. At the very base of the neck is a collection of muscles that are like the drivers of our entire postural system. So when the back of the neck gets tight like this, the rest of the body will try to accommodate that because we won't allow ourselves to walk around all day looking up. So we'll either put it down, sink back, anything to get the face straight. So we need to learn how to unglue the very base of the skull from the spine. Okay? In order to do this, we're going to use some easy relaxation principles. Okay, and we're just going to nod the head yes while we start to use our released breathing. Okay, we can set our shoulders here and then relax them, letting go, focusing on nodding the head from as high a position as possible. Right? If you find yourself doing this, the movement's too big. It needs to be a nod. And now we're going to try to de-stress the body to release these muscles. They're very hard to stretch in their own right. It's easy to stretch your chest. It's hard to stretch these muscles. They respond much better to release and relaxation. So let's combine some movement for them to stimulate the blood flow while we use our release breathing to allow the neck to do its business. Good. As we sink deeper into relaxation, let's peel the head upwards while we use the arms to peel the fascia of the neck down to open the throat. So I like to just slide my hands down as I look upwards. Great, everybody. We're going to round out our session now with just this final words of encouragement to invest in the release of the mind and the body at the same time. The neck responds best to mental release. We can stretch till the cows come home, and that will handle bigger problems in the upper trapezius. But if that simple stretching stuff earlier didn't make you feel good and you still felt there was something down the middle of the spine that's gripping, you need to release the grip with gentle, gentle movement and gentle thoughts so that we release everything at the deepest level. Okay, thanks everybody for watching. We'll be back on Monday with some new and exciting program for Body Tuning Live. There's a donation link in the description below. I appreciate any comments that you give also. I really appreciate the encouragement, and I look forward to continuing some really good health work with you people in the future. Have a great day.